Hey, how's it going? It's June 21st, 2023. I am at Joel Pearl. It's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert is here, hopefully for the duration of the program.
I've told the wife she's not allowed to leave the house under any circumstances right now because I cannot be called away on an emergency. So hopefully I'm here for all 2 hours instead of just I had to be a hero. Joel Pearl had to go be a hero.
It's okay. If it means anything to you, the conversation didn't fall flat at all this past Monday, so everything worked out.
No, I need the show to suck without me, so I feel a little bit like she's messaging me. You did not tell me that. Kayfabe, what are we doing here, baby? You got to kayfabe this stuff. Jeez. No, I need the show to be terrible without me, so that way it's like, oh man, we miss Jeremy. We need him back. Why do you have to get SP3 and Kate to come on the show? Why can't you get someone bad at this to come on the show? So it's like, oh man, we miss Jeremy here. But no, you get like actual like talented people. I don't like this.
I don't like people who aren't good at this. That's kind of the problem. I can't bring myself to bring on people who are subpar.
Joel, I don't care. I don't care that like if our show tanks without me. I need it to tank without me, so I look better. This is my Hogan pull right here. So yeah, I'm taking the show off when we're up against the big competition and when you get these non-draws in here. But if you keep bringing in other people, this doesn't work. Other good people, this doesn't work out for me.
So when do I go off for a year and like spend my days in the top corner of this show while you bring on SP3 and I'm just brooding and slowly putting on black and white face paint? When do we
get good angle? Yeah, that'd be a good bit if we could. Could you imagine you just like showing up for 2 hours each 3 days a week, just in silence until you finally speak? Could we pull that off? I don't think we can actually pull that off. It'd be great if we could.
I don't think I could pull it off. I would try, but I would fail.
I can pull it off. I've done the Christmas show, which apparently isn't a thing anymore. I've done the Christmas show for the last 2 years where I haven't said a single word on that Christmas show. I've sat in silence for 2 straight years on that show. I think I can maybe pull it off. It'd be good. I work on other stuff while you're doing this show. I wouldn't have to say anything. Maybe we'll do this. Now we've just spoiled our big plans here, but I think I can do it. I think I can.
All of this seems bad. I feel like this is not what we should do.
Why? SP3 can do the show, and I'll just hang out for 2 hours. And I got the mask. I can't reach it. It's way over there. My arms are not long enough. I can just wear the mask for 6 hours a week. It'd be good.
Oh, well then. Okay, fine. Let's do it. Let's not do that. That sounds awful. But you know what does sound good is actually hey, hi, how are you? Chat. Go ahead and leave a thumbs up on the video while you're here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel because we're going to get to 15,000 before you know it. And we want you to be part of that. So go ahead, subscribe. Don't let Jeremy's face tell you otherwise. We're going to be at 15,000 before we know it. So just do that and then hit that bell, get your notifications because we drop content here every day, whether it's pre-recorded or whether it's an interview that we did, or there's other content too. If you don't like Jeremy, you don't like Joel, guess what? There's Joel and Kate. Oh crap, that's me again. There's Rob and Maggie. I know, right? It's one of the biggest drawing shows on this channel. It's a problem. And then you've got Rob and Maggie. They're great. They're on Fridays. You have Tag Talk. They're running around. They're doing their thing. And we have Reg and Mike. They do indeed. They're fantastic. Check them out. Check out all the shows. And of course, New Japan Bread Club has an episode that's dropping, I believe, tomorrow, or is it today?
Yes.
Today's Wednesday.
I think it's going to run tomorrow because we have our show today and we have Indeed later tonight. So New Japan Bread Club, it'll still be like timely tomorrow. So it'll be tomorrow.
Perfect. Probably for the best anyway, because Forbidden Door still has matches that will be announced, and because that's a pre-recorded show, it won't good anyway. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Go check them out. Bread Club they're so much fun. Matt and Kieran have a great report. They're fun. So check them out. If you haven't yet, I don't know what to tell you.
Watch FMC where I twerk. That's not a selling point at all.
I mean, it is if you watch the video that you posted. Twerk machine over here. And if you want Jeremy to twerk some more, go ahead and donate a super chat. Any amount gets your question statement and Jeremy twerk action on the air.
No, it doesn't. Do not say that. I did it for free. I mean, I should get paid. Somebody throw some dollar bills at me. Throw some singles
That's what
at
I'm
me,
saying.
baby.
Don't throw
Shaking this ass for
singles.
free.
Don't throw singles. Throw 20s. Come on,
Yeah.
make this place rain really well. Come on. Also, in Canada, you don't want to throw loonies because that stuff hurts. They're hard. They're painful. The lowest bill denomination we have is $5. So at least $5 to get Jeremy twerking.
What is a loony? Kavon loony?
No, it's just the name for the dollar coin we have.
That sounds Canadian.
Do you know what they call the $2 coin?
Sorry about your currency.
Currency.
Yeah.
We think it's spelled with C-O-U. What do you think they call the $2 coin?
I have no idea. Oh, so wait, a loony is a $5 coin?
No, the loony is the single dollar. So then what do we
Okay.
call the $2 coin?
Toonie?
You got it. And someone in the chat already spoiled it.
Oh, okay. There's a loony bird on it. Don't forget Toonie. Why do you name your money loonies and toonies?
Well, it's a loony because there's a loon on the front of the coin.
Okay. Why is it a toonie?
Because it's 2. That's the only reason. That one was just completely easy to do.
So is it phony for 5?
No, because the 5 is a $5 bill.
Your money is literally Looney Tunes. Like, literally Looney Tunes is your money. Is Bugs Bunny on the dollar coin?
No, but it would be great if it did.
Elmer Fudd on the $2 coin?
Oh my God, no, stop it. Ryan Lambert sends a super chat saying, tosses quarters at Jeremy for the booty shakes. You got to send more quarters than $2 worth. Let's go.
They sent 8 quarters, technically.
Technically, but that's not enough. That's enough to like leave us a mark, but not like indent the skin.
Yeah, that hurt getting like 8 quarters tossed at you.
That would probably hurt, but let's keep it up. Pro Wrestling Podcast with the super chat saying AEW tonight rubs together hands like Birdman. Okay, so we gotta address the other elephant in the room. Our Shane Hawk interview got a little bit of engagement from an article you wrote and something that Shane said.
Welcome.
Apparently my watch thinks that I'm talking to it. Yeah, so the Shane Hawk interview, let's touch on that real quick. He got some engagement, did he not?
He knew what he was doing, and I thank him for what he did. I say it all the time of, I appreciate when these wrestlers come on here and give me a good headline out of this. And Shane said some things that were very easy headlines, and I appreciate that he engaged with it as well, because so many wrestlers will just, okay, one, they'll get mad at me if I write the headline. I never like that, because it's a tricky balance. Here's some newsworthy insight here. It's a tricky balance, especially when they're on like our show and everything, of like, I don't want to upset them because they were kind enough to come on our show and talk to us for however long they talked to us and everything. But at the same time, I have a job to do when it comes to headlines, and I do want the engagement. I do want the clicks. I'm lying. I never think it's clickbait. I think it's headline bait, but I'm lying if I say like, hey, I don't want you to engage with this. Let me write this generic headline so that it gets no engagement, no clicks. That's stupid. That's not doing my job well. So I wrote what I wrote, and I appreciated that he engaged with it and realized, like, I think most of these wrestlers get it, and they realize like, yeah, let's engage with this. Let's say this, and let's go with this. So yeah, Shane Hawk was great. I got more articles coming from him. That was such an easy headline though. The American Indies are the Indies on easy mode. Come on. That one was so easy. So easy. And like he said, I saw Shaza retweet it as well. Shaza McKenzie, she mentioned of like, it's not wrong that, the international wrestlers feel like it's just harder to get over because the exposure isn't there compared to America. Like, I know most of the American wrestlers on the independent scene. And then when it comes to international talent, I don't know them as well because they're not on like platforms and stuff. Like they're not on Fight TV, they're not on IWTV, they're not on High Spots. All the other, even on like YouTube. A lot of American indies are on YouTube. So like, I don't think Shane was necessarily wrong in what he was saying. Now, do I think like the Canadian independent wrestlers are better than the American independent wrestlers? Oh, it'd be fun, but it's all subjective, right? That's a subjective thing. But I get what he's saying when it comes to like the exposure stuff, because the American indies, there's gifts every weekend of these guys, where Canadian indies, it's just not.
Sorry, I had to bring that back because of the newsworthy comment.
Yeah.
I was waiting for you to finish your sentence. I was like, is it going to be too far from his initial point? It doesn't matter. I'm going to play it anyway. Stupid horn. We used to have fun with that. Yeah, but it's true. This is why I always want more talent from outside of the US to get in touch with us and to be on our show and to put themselves out there and put themselves over, because without our outlets, it's still difficult. And there is further in terms of Canada, like it's harder to book a tour or gig or anything like that because it's so far between towns. I mean, going from Ottawa to Toronto alone is a 5-hour drive. Whereas, going from a smaller town where Jeremy is to another town, it could be a 45-minute drive. So like, it's not, it's different. And and again, the easy mode comment, yes, it is a very easy headline to make, but if you read the article and you understand the context, I don't think Shane Hawk is wrong in the way that he presents the argument. There have been a lot of really great wrestlers coming through Canada for years, and we can name them all, but we don't need to because y'all have experienced them on various platforms, typically when they move across and do stuff in the US. But I do think more people should try to learn more about independent wrestlers who are coming up from other countries outside of the US. And that's really the big takeaway for me. So I'm always going to give a platform to wrestlers who are passionate, who are good at this, who put other people over and understand how the gig goes. That's how I feel.
I think the biggest takeaway is, what was the echo there? What are we doing, Joel? I heard an echo.
There's no echo.
Oh, all right. I think you're lying. I think the biggest takeaway is Canadians lie. I think that's the biggest takeaway. I think the biggest takeaway is wrestlers should come on this show and say some outrageous stuff that I can write as a headline, and then you can get over through that. That's the biggest takeaway, everybody.
Will Ospreay, I saw what you said about Canada. I tagged you.
I tried to get Ospreay on the show. I at least tagged him. And I can't say like I tried to get him and that like I have any type of line to Will Ospreay, but I did tag him. By the way, I have a second source confirming that there was an echo. So double sourced confirmed on this.
How bad was the echo?
Bad enough that I heard it and commented on it.
But was it long or was it just happening?
Nah, it was like 2 words that I said and it echoed for it. So
I think it just happens with the stupid, whenever I use that horn, whenever I use any sound on the soundboard, something goes weird.
Yeah. Well, double sourced. Joel Pearl is a liar. Can confirm. Credit to In the Weeds Select.
That one.
Now we're going to echo again.
No, that one's on my personal soundboard through my personal board. Anything I do through StreamYard with the audio always goes bonkers. It's stupid. Anyway,
credit In the Weeds Select until that platform gets shut down for using the term select in it, and we get yelled at.
I made that joke on Monday, so I can't do it again. Or no, I did it somewhere where I was just like, anyway, I mentioned the whole thing. I didn't mention this, and I meant to. In about 45 minutes at 11 a.m. Eastern, Jody Threat's going to join us, and that's a pretty great deal. If you don't know who Jody Threat is, then clearly you haven't been watching Fightful Properties, because Sean Ross Sapp has not stopped talking about Jody Threat for years, and neither have I, for that matter, because Jody's located in my neck of the woods, so I get to see her quite often. And now more and more people are exposed to her thanks to Impact Wrestling. But Jody's going to join us at 11 o'clock because she's going to be a part of a show that's happening on Sunday morning. That's June 25th, by the way, going into Forbidden Door at the Rec Room in Toronto. It's called Girls Next Door. Some of y'all have heard me talk about the show, but Jody's on the card, and she's going to be facing Ali Catch in a no DQ match. So we're going to talk to her about that and a whole bunch of other stuff. Again, that's at 11 a.m. Eastern. Very, very much looking forward to Jody Threat joining us. And then on Friday, the plan is, just to put it out there, because we're talking Girls Next Door, Nicole Matthews is going to join us. That's the plan as of right now. We know that for Nicole, van life can be a precarious internet situation, but for right now, she's tentatively slated to join us to talk about Girls Next Door and a whole other bunch of things. I'm going to talk to her about van life for a whole bunch, because like pandemic made me a van life aficionado for a guy who never lived in a van. So I'm excited for that one.
I'm very excited for Jody Threat and Nicole Matthews. I'm very interested in this van life because I've heard you talk about it a little bit in messages and online and stuff. And not gonna lie, I don't know. I get it, but like I don't fully get it. Does she have sonar on the van life? Like we're gonna be able to find her if she's, like out there and missing for a little while, right? Like we can.
I'm sure she has GPS and some sort of connection.
I get worried about this stuff now with this, Titanic submarine thing. This is what's consumed my life the past couple of days.
I've seen that. Yeah. I've seen the consumption that it's taken on your life. I see you and the wife are very deeply entrenched in this.
Oh, she's up to like 3 a.m. just like reading all of the stories about this. Like she's just giving me all the new updates. She's an expert on this, by the way. If they need to do a rescue mission, she should lead it, because I'm pretty sure she has all the information at this point. I just think like they need to tap on the glass, do some Morse code on the glass, and Aquaman will come save them at some point. That's where I feel this should all lead to, because I don't know how else, but best wishes to them. I can't say it's promising at this point. It's a very sad and tragic thing, but there's,
I will say this. If you want to save these people, it's a very easy fix. You get a 13-year-old kid who's an amazing gamer. And they're going to take that joystick and
button mash, baby. Button mash.
Just what is it? AABB select start, select start.
Konami up, down.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the whole thing. Anyway, so I just got a message from the anonymous ITW GM saying it's the first thing I read about in the morning, though. And I am not up until 3 a.m.
by it. Just consumed by it, giving me all that. That's how I read this stuff as well. It's fascinating to me. Absolutely fascinating. I don't get it at all. The Logitech PlayStation 3 controller just pops me so much. Of like, this is what they got stuff like the sub is made out of like spare parts from Camping World as well. Like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? This is like a middle school project of like, oh yeah, over here we got the Pinewood Derby for all the Boy Scouts. And then if you don't want to compete in the Pinewood Derby, everybody come over here and compete in the Titanic submersive challenge over on this side for the Boy Scouts. And that's what we're doing here. It's like, all right, let's pay $250,000 and we're going to take this thing on down.
I have remember when we used to do the gaming stuff on Twitch and we would play like Portal and all that? That's the same gaming controller that I have, just like a spec up.
Right.
And I find it absolutely insane that's how
they a PlayStation. I mean, this is like a legit PlayStation. It's just PlayStation 4, but
right.
PlayStation 4 controller. Here we go. This is what we're using here.
Yeah, like I've got my Switch Pro controller, which apparently is more advanced than whatever they're using down there. So I feel bad about what's going on down there, but at the same time, like you said, it's a little insane. And the one guy whose son went to the Blink-182 concert tried to meet Travis Barker in the band. He messaged Tom DeLonge. It was just like, hey, can I meet the band? I'm in a state of shock. Oh, oh, you just
That's a good, you know what? Use it to your advantage. Be like, yeah, he's like, my family would have wanted me to go to this Blink 182 concert. And I mean, probably, like they went on a submarine trip without you. So, which fortunately, you might as well go to this Blink 182 concert and have a grand old time out there.
just absolutely insane. I can't anyway. Okay, so let's talk about this whole thing with CM Punk, because you didn't get a chance to give me your thoughts on the return on the promo, and then we got to talk about the fact that there was some reporting about tonight Dynamite being in Chicago at Wintrust, and CM Punk being scheduled for, not announced, at least not yet, and the Elite having reportedly done some pre-tapes for tonight's Dynamite and for Saturday's Collision, which I have some feelings on as well. But give me your general thoughts, starting with Punk and the return and the promo, because I got a few of my thoughts out, but I would like to hear yours about watching him come back and the reaction he got.
I realize these are very lukewarm takes because it was on Saturday, but I've not officially commented on the return of CM Punk. So very, hot takes uh from my mouth and brain on this. I thought it was a good promo. Like it hit the points that we kind of were hoping he would hit with certain things. I like the tell me what I'm telling lies callback and all this stuff, but my biggest thing is he's setting up a feud right now that we don't know if it's going to happen. If it does happen, fantastic. Honestly, we'll look back on this and be like, oh, great. Like all of this counterfeit bucks makes sense. Like, you know what? This was not the first beat, but a beat in the story. But if it doesn't happen, we're just going to be like, this is just kind of a waste of nothing for this. I like that he addressed the title situation. He had I guess the Blackhawks custom belt in his bag that he got gifted from Tommy Hawk. I guess that was in his bag. So I like that he addressed that. He didn't really he addressed the absence and everything, but he didn't really address like Collision and what he was doing with FTR and the main event that he was competing in and things like that. And they didn't really set anything else up for him moving forward. He just won in the main event and that was it. He's reportedly going to be on Dynamite tonight, not announced for that. I've seen the theories that, MJF has declined facing Hiroshi Tanahashi. He will not show up to Forbidden Door. I've seen the theory that CM Punk will show up because they were going to do Punk and Tanahashi last year until Punk got the foot injury. So Punk will show up and represent AEW as the world champion. And that is how they maybe get to a CM Punk MJF match. If those two, I guess they're willing to work together, but that is maybe how they get to that. I saw the discourse of, oh, we removed the AEW little logo when he had the shaved head, and this is all callbacks to the WWE promo where he took shots at The Rock and everything when he was still champion. We said it a lot leading up to the return of Punk is he is going to live out Bret Hart 97. He's going to be babyface in Chicago, which he was. He got the F the Elite chance. He got the big cheers and everything. And I think he's going to get booed pretty much everywhere else. And we're going to see that starting as early as Saturday when they're in Canada, and we'll see what the reaction is. The fact that the Elite aren't going to be on the show reportedly tonight and then Saturday feels like a miss, considering they're coming off that angle last week. You would probably want them on the show in some capacity. I hope Callis is at least there to talk about stuff. I know Eddie Kingston is going to be there to address enemies or at least do some type of segment. And Danielson's going to call out Okada, but like Ospreay and Omega is arguably the biggest or second biggest match going into Forbidden Door. You would probably want Ospreay or Omega on the final Dynamite before Forbidden Door. The fact that we're not going to get Omega at least in a live capacity, feels like a miss. But I understand they're in Chicago. They don't want Omega potentially booed during this when he is supposed to be the babyface. So it does feel like they're trying to protect that a little bit. I get that, but this is where it just comes into, the layout of the booking of, oh, we did this big angle this week, but we're in Chicago, so we can't actually have them on the show because they're going to get booed and that's not going to look good. So they're working the best they can with these circumstances, but they've also put themselves in this position of these circumstances with the addition of the Chicago shows and laying out the booking how they've laid it out.
Yeah, there and a lot of that of what you said, I agree with, and I echo a lot of that. The if they want to make the Kenny and Osprey match have a little bit extra going into Sunday, then yeah, Osprey should show up tonight, and whatever he says, Kenny should reply via pre-tape, and I would be okay with that. Just something to advance the story and give a little bit extra going into the final build. There's so much more going on tonight. You've got the blind eliminator tournament. We're going to go through all this, but the point is, like, there is a lot, and they're probably going to have so much that it kind of covers for the elite not being on the show tonight and instead maybe making a small appearance. But at the same time, like, it's one of their bigger, the Kenny part. It's really the Kenny part more than anything, because the Bucks don't have a match yet.
Right.
And
I think you need Callis.
Yes.
I think you need Callis out there. The question is, to Chicago cheer Callis because they don't like Kenny that much that they are willing to cheer the most hated man in AEW. I don't know, but I think you need Callis out there to talk up Osprey, to bury Omega, and to even talk up Takeshita a little bit. I think not having Callis in a live portion coming off of last week would be a little bit of a miss. Like, again, this is the biggest match. And the angle last week was so hot where I saw all the praise of, like, was this the greatest ending to Dynamite ever and everything. And it's like, wait, you're going to follow this up with just pre-tapes? The greatest ending to Dynamite ever is just going to be followed up with, hey, a backstage segment of Kenny and the Bucks. Like, oh man, can't believe we got attacked like that. We're going to get our revenge. Like, that's how we're going to follow this up. That's a miss.
An extended DTE segment.
Yeah. And they might do it well, by the way. Like, I'm not saying like it's going to be like a bad thing. The material might be good. I just think when you have a segment like that, it's better if you follow it up in front of a live crowd in some capacity. And again, this is where I would call on Don Callis and trust that he can turn that Chicago crowd. If they want to boo Omega, he can turn that crowd against him and get a little bit of shine on Omega, get some extra heat on Will Ospreay with this stuff. But that might be difficult because that Chicago crowd, they ain't fans of the elite. They are not fans. And the beats Callis likes to hit of, like, Kenny Omega, wasted potential, Kenny Omega too concerned with playing video games and what the Young Bucks have to say when he could be a star on his own, they might cheer that stuff because they don't like the elite. They might be like, yeah, F Kenny Omega for doing all that. They might cheer that, and then that's not great either. But I'd have some trust in Callis to go out there and deliver a strong promo segment to get the heat on Ospreay and Omega going into Forbidden Door.
And you'd want to separate it as far as you can, having a Dawn segment, and if CM Punk has a segment in the ring or whatever he does, you want to keep them as far apart so that the crowd's not immediately clicking, putting those two together. And I agree with you. It's up to Dawn if they do that. And the city of Chicago, from at least what we were told by Pro Wrestling Podcast on Monday, was that there was a split reaction. That there were some people who were, not super enamored with CM Punk's return, or that felt uncomfortable, which is the words that he used himself, CM Punk, in his promo. There were people who were uncomfortable with the way that he came back and the things that he said, because at the end of the day, yeah, they're CM Punk fans, but they're also fans of the company, which has elite in it, and they go to support not just CM Punk, but also other wrestlers involved with it. So some people are not willing to, quote, take a side in this whole situation, and as a result, some people still feel uncomfortable with the way that this plays out. I'm interested in how tonight plays, but I'm also a little annoyed that I'm interested in the reaction more than the storylines, because again, this is another thing that continues to happen with AEW, where we become much more invested in what's going on backstage and what's in the news, and less of what's going on in the ring. And again, looking at the promo for tonight, there's a lot of really good stuff going on in the ring.
I do think this is kind of an AEW. I don't want to say it's a full-on problem because the fan base enjoys this stuff. I enjoy this stuff if I'm being honest. But yeah, a lot of their promo stuff is based almost too much in the backstage reality. We saw a lot of that in the four pillars lead up. And I think they lost the plot a little bit on the four pillars lead up, and we discussed that as that show was nearing and that match was nearing. I think they lost the plot a little bit on there. I think they can sometimes be too willing to address that stuff that they do lose the plot on, like, hey, what's actually happening on television. And if there is a criticism of the Punk promo, it might be that is like you were taking shots at the Young Bucks, which is, hey, they went into Chicago after they returned and were trolling in that trio. Kenny was biting. They were using CM Punk moves. They were using the GTS and everything. Like, they were trolling in Chicago. So CM Punk, I understand he wants to return and everything, or he wants to return fire on that. I get it. He's been holding that stuff in. He was so proud of that counterfeit Bucks line, by the way. He said it and he's like, wink, pet. Yeah, great job, Phil.
Who do you think?
Got him.
Who do you think fed that to him? Who do you think told him backstage, like, counterfeit Bucks? Huh?
Nah, he's been working on that one. He's had months to get this material going. He's been working on this one.
You don't think the Chomp man? You don't think the Chomper gave it to him as a little bit of an incentive? Like, we're cool with Kenny, but what about the tag team?
He was very proud of that. I understand why he wants to return fire and everything, but sometimes, like, you got to address what's actually happening on the television show as well and build that. And that was like my kind of issue with that is, like, I thought Collision was a good show. I thought it was a good show. It felt a little bit different than Dynamite. And, you know, they had some good matches. They set up some stuff, but when it came to, like, Punk, I feel like they set up stuff that we don't know if it's going to happen. And maybe it will. Maybe it will. But is it going to happen immediately? It doesn't seem like it. You know, we've got Omega and Ospreay this weekend. The Bucks don't have a match for this weekend. We don't know what Punk is doing this weekend, if anything. So it doesn't seem like if it's going to happen, it's going to happen immediately. Maybe it does happen coming out of Forbidden Door and, you know, which would be next week. Maybe they do start setting stuff up there, but we don't know that. And certainly CM Punk didn't set up anything when it came to Bullet Club and Samoa Joe and the trios match. And I guess the people were already in the building. The people are already watching. What do you need to say about this stuff? But they didn't set up anything coming out of that match either. It's just CM Punk and FTR won. Happy ending to close Collision. There was no big hook for next week or anything like that. It was a good show, but it was just maybe the CM Punk promo was the impact, but the CM Punk and really the hook, but the CM Punk promo was also setting up something that we know nothing about on television, that hasn't been referenced on television, and that we don't know if it's going to happen in the coming weeks. And if it does, great. I'll look very dumb and I'll be like, you know what? That promo was a home run. And if it doesn't happen, then we're like, hey, cool promo in this vacuum, but in terms of television, what did we accomplish here?
It's funny because once upon a time when the CM Punk return was on the table, we were talking about All In and we were talking about All Out and we were talking about a CM FTR versus Kenny and the Bucks match as an All In match to lead into the Bucks and FTR for the AEW tag titles at All In or at All Out the next week. And then Punk versus whoever. And I get that we thought maybe Kenny would take the title at one point, and they do. You know, it would basically be a big, like, massive 6-man house show style match to get you excited for All Out the next week. Which I think, honestly, as far as like a 6-man trios match, a trios match as it would be in AEW, as far as that would go, that would be a really good place to be. For All In. And then at All Out, you'd have the 2 big title matches that I think would still do exceedingly well. But I don't know where we're at this point. The Punk return has got a lot of people talking, for better or worse. I'm going to go back to the whole, backstage getting people excited for AEW. Something that Sean brought up on his backstage report that I thought was worth reminding people and worth repeating was the idea that, like, yes, we have on Fightful Select almost 10,000 subscribers. Okay. You take into account people who are account sharing, then maybe you're getting up to, liberally we'll say 13,000. The amount of people who are watching Dynamite week to week are much, much, much larger of an audience. We're talking, upward on an excellent week, you're talking a million. On a regular week right now, averaging about 800,000 to 900,000, and that's fine. There's a large group of people who are not in the know the same way that those 13,000 fans or 13,000 patrons that we talk about are part of. And I would love to know from those people who are not watching it for the news and are not interested in the backstage stuff, that are just wrestling, entertain me, stories, tell me. I want to know how those people are feeling going into this CM Punk return, if they're turned on, turned off, if they're interested, not interested. I want to know how those people feel, because we get stuck in our echo chamber very quickly, especially with social media and the people we follow, don't follow. There are people who, of those 800,000 plus, not on social media, not interested, don't care, entertain me. That's fine. I want to know from those people, and I don't think I can ask anybody at Forbidden Door, because Forbidden Door is another niche event where it's going to be filled with people who are New Japan fans, AEW fans. They're there for the dream matches. They're not there for the stories. Some of the, there is a story attached to these matches, but like, they're not, this isn't an advancement for the most part of AEW storylines. Some of the matches are, but not all of them are. It's like an outside of the box event that they put on. That being said, it's a different kind of a person that I want to talk to, because those people are the most interesting to me when we talk about what AEW is doing right or doing wrong, what brings them back or what turns them off.
So 2 comments on this, Joel, and it might end up being like 3 or 4 comments. We are very trapped in our bubble because we are very online. We are very much covering everything in the business, right? Like, I write news daily. I got to be on top of all of this. You do essentially a show daily at this point. You got to be on top of all this stuff. And the people we interact with are largely in that bubble as well. They are wrestling media people. If you're listening to this show, watching this show, if you're tweeting at us, with us, whatever it might be, like, you probably understand all of this stuff. So 2 things on this. After All Out, after everything had happened, we got all that. We were watching the press conference and the audio and everything. In the following Dynamite, hey, Kenny and the Bucks are gone, stripped of the titles. CM Punk's gone, stripped of the titles. We have friends who friends who watch wrestling and who are not in this bubble, right? And so we asked them of like, hey, what did you make of like them just stripping of the title? Like, did you know of why it all happened? They're like, no. Like, we just saw it. We watched a television show and they didn't really explain it. And so like, they went online to kind of look, and they didn't quite understand all of it that had happened, but they got the gist of everything. And but like, it wasn't appealing to them. It's like, no, we just watched a television show and this is what we keep up with. Like, we're not online looking at all of this. Our kids have school friends who watch wrestling, and like, they're not online on this. Like, they're just watching the show. They're not going online, keeping up with all the news and stuff. We got to tell our kids, tell everybody to go to Fightful.com and give me some more money. But like, they just don't keep up with all of this stuff, right? So yeah, there is a large portion of the audience that just doesn't keep up with this. And again, I have friends who I've talked to about this and asked them, like, did you know what was going on? And they're like, no. That's one point. Second, so Jensen and I just interviewed his name's Declan Goff. He works for Minnesota Sports. He's a big wrestling fan. He is actually online. Keep this in mind. He covers the Minnesota sports clubs. He has a show. He talks wrestling on his show and everything. He is actually like relatively online when it comes to this stuff. So we asked him about Forbidden Door. He knows like the backstage stuff and everything. But we asked him about Forbidden Door, and he's like, yeah, I don't really know these New Japan guys. He doesn't watch New Japan. He just doesn't. He watches AEW, he watches WWE, but he doesn't watch New Japan, doesn't keep up with anything New Japan. And we asked him, this interview will air tomorrow on the Spotlight, by the way. We asked him, like, do you think AEW could do a better job when it comes to like the New Japan stuff? And he's like, yeah, like I know like Ospreay's been on the show before and Okada has had a match, but he's like, I don't get the gravity of what these guys mean to New Japan. Like he knows they're good wrestlers. They're obviously good wrestlers if they're having these matches and stuff, but he just doesn't understand why Okada is a big deal, why Ospreay is a big deal, why these are big matches, because he doesn't keep up with New Japan. And he only keeps up with New Japan through AEW. And I think there is some valid, we make fun of, oh, they need a video package to introduce this person. If you don't know these people, you're dumb. And again, we're very much in our bubble when it comes to that. We're like, how do you not know Will Ospreay? How do you not know Okada? How do you not know why they are so great and why these matches are so big type of things? We literally interviewed a person who is online, who watches WWE and AEW, but doesn't watch New Japan, and who said, like, yeah, I don't think they've done a great enough job explaining to me, a viewer, why these are a big deal, why these wrestlers are a big deal, why these matches are a big deal. And look, if you think he's wrong, you think he's wrong. But we talked to him of, his thoughts on it. And that was his thoughts on it. So yeah, I've talked to people who are not so much in our little bubble, and they do have criticisms of both backstage stuff and Forbidden Door stuff.
Please, for the love of God, before anyone comments, if you're watching after the fact and leaving a comment, first of all, go ahead, do that. That's fine. But please don't start trying to defend the feelings of somebody else's opinions on this whole thing. I get it.
That little school kid is just wrong. How can they not be online and keeping up with CM Punk and Brawl Out?
Exactly. Your experiences are different from the people we're talking about. But those are the experiences that I personally want to continue hearing from, because I feel like those are the experiences that get more eyes on the product in positive ways and make the changes that are needed to continue making this company better and continue making it more cohesive and less online, which people think that's a dirty word, to be less online, but I really feel like a lot of us, and the irony of us doing a show 3 times a week that's online and talking about this, but I feel like a lot of people could really stand from just unplugging, being offline for a bit. And you know what, I'll add to my point about being offline. My Tuesdays, I've told a lot of people, my Tuesdays are sacred to me now. It is my one day where throughout the entire day, my kids in daycare, I am not doing a show unless there's an emergency and I got to fill in. But I'm largely offline and I'm doing stuff around the house. I'm cleaning, I'm cooking. I'm just not online. And I find that is so incredibly beneficial, not only for my mental health, but also just for my general state of mind when it comes to wrestling and when it comes to all the things that I do. Being offline for a little bit and thinking about those who are offline for these shows is a huge benefit to how you think and feel about pro wrestling. Because not everyone has the same 100% online all the time situation that you do. So think about that.
Yeah, I mean, I was very unplugged for a good week and a half this past time. And like, I didn't feel like I missed a whole lot is the first thing. Is like, I think that, and I could be wrong, but for my feeling, I think that is why people just don't get offline as much, as they just feel like, oh, I'm going to miss something and then I'm not going to be up on things. And then, so they don't want to be offline on that. I think you'll find like you probably won't miss as much as you think you do. But yeah, it was nice just being away from all the discourse and everything. And like, I didn't really watch a lot of wrestling either. I just got away from everything. It's very nice. Get in the weeds, everybody. Go touch grass is what we're saying. But yeah, look, there's a big there is a big portion of the audience that just doesn't consume all of the stuff that we consume, and we like to make fun of them. We as a collective, not you and I specifically, but like we make fun of them because we are so online. It's like, well, how do they not think the way that I think? It's like, well, because they're different people. They live a different life, and their opinion is no less valid than yours. And honestly, they should be listened to more, because you're just going to listen to dorks like me, or like, how can you not be excited for Brad Danielson and Kazuchika Okada? Like, what are we doing? This is the biggest match of all time. It's going to be the greatest wrestling match in history behind Randy Orton and Edge. So why wouldn't you be excited for this match? Like, of course I'm excited for it, but Billy on the street, that's like a real thing, isn't it, with Billy Eichner? So,
name a woman. Name a woman for $1. Name a woman. Sorry.
Watching him on Parks and Rec, he's fantastic. Billy Eichner is great when he's just yelling at people. Billy on the street, it might not know all of this stuff, right? Like, it's probably more important than the guy who's gonna just give you his money willy-nilly because, like, I'm gonna give you my money willy-nilly because I gotta watch this stuff and I like this stuff and I cover this stuff. Like, the argument of like the casual fan, let's appeal to the casual fan, is a little bit overblown, but I do think there is an argument for let's appeal to the casual wrestling fan. How about that? Like, because there are just fans who do like wrestling, but just who only watch the television stuff. Like, so you don't need to appeal to the casual fan who's not watching wrestling, who's like, oh, I gotta hook this. What's that?
No, your internet had been kind of fluctuating and then it stopped for a second. And I was going to say, I saw it coming, but it was only for a quick second. You're good.
Oh, all right. Sorry.
I think you're good.
Yeah, my internet. Yeah, my internet's going to be my Ohio. What are you going to do, people? Right? Logan Paul, everything he said about Ohio is completely true.
We'll talk about that later. But also, but I do want to point out, if there's one thing that this is how dorkish I am when it comes to this stuff. If you're ever on StreamYard and you're using Wi-Fi to do these shows, 45 minutes is like, if you have good internet via Wi-Fi, 45 minutes is when this particular stream app, whatever, taps itself out and then starts going and then resets itself. It's a very strange thing I've noticed.
Oh, well, from now on at the 45-minute mark, I will never speak, because that's basically how this internet works, is the 45-minute mark is that's when it's going to do its thing.
Did I say 45 minutes? I meant the 30 and 20.
Every 15 minutes is when it happens. My point being is, like, okay, appealing to casual fans who are like watching reality TV, and it's like, oh, how do we hook them with a big storyline or a big match type of thing? Like, don't worry about those people. Worry about the people who are literally just consuming your wrestling television show. Worry about those people, because they're watching. But now you got to get them, you want them to consume everything. You want them to consume the Being the Elites, and then Collision and Dynamite and Rampage and Main Event and NXT Level Up. Like, you want them to consume that stuff. So how do you get them to do that? And that's when it starts on the television show that most people are watching, and finding those hooks with the FTW Championship and Jungle Boy to get them to watch.
And then you end up with a ballot of the Emmys for Dynamite and All Access.
The hooks, Patrick. We can't ride up the hooks. You just ride it up. It's a SpongeBob episode. This is a great bit with the SpongeBob. People are going to overblow this Emmy thing, by the way. It's just like, they're one of like 50 shows on the nomination ballot. These are not like the final ballots, everybody. They're literally just on the nomination ballot with, like, again, 50 other shows.
Yeah, but they're on it. So clearly they're going to win an Emmy because it's cinema, Jeremy.
WWE's not on it, by the way.
It never is.
Yeah.
I don't
How
even
did
know.
AEW get on, but like WWE didn't even like make the little nomination ballot?
I think for nominations you have to fill out some paperwork for it, and I think WWE's just been like, this is a waste of time. Why are we doing it? Like, this is, anytime they tried the 4-year consideration stuff, it's just blown up in their faces like you can't be serious, right, bro? And like AEW, I think because Warner Brothers Discovery is doing so much right now with AEW, and I think personally they might have a little bit of stake in the company, but that's a whole other conversation. I think they're trying to get the most out of their investment. And this is one way, and it creates buzz because, like you said, some people are going to take it and run with it, and that maybe to them puts more eyes on them. And by the way, I'm not the first person to make that assertion. That's been a Brandon Thurston thing as well. He's talked about the potential of WBD having some stake in the AEW pie. Nothing is official. Everything's just kind of, talk.
Joel, the Emmys are on September 18th. That is a Monday. Do we do an Emmy award show on this? Like we give awards for acting, for supporting role, for best writing. Not like the wrestling matches. Everyone knows the wrestling matches. Oh, who's the best wrestler and things like that. Who's the best actor? What's the best promo skits? Do promos, I'm not promos, whatever. You go out there and do what's the best skit segment type of thing. Do we do a fake Emmy award show on this show on September 18th?
Only if you're in networks. It's doing it again. You got Robo.
I don't know what do you do with this. The internet's. I can do a router in here, and the kids will yell at me. So I don't know if I can do that.
Just get a 75-foot cable and run it from the router up to this room.
That'll work really well.
That's how it's supposed to work.
Yeah, I'm sure. I got the Wi-Fi extender. Those things are trash.
Yeah, they're not
good.
They don't work. They clearly do not work. Yeah, actually, we're gonna call it the Wheaties. That's the name of the
sued.
No, we're never gonna get sued. No, we're not big enough.
Spelled correctly.
Eventually, you're gonna be fixed. The other half sends a super chat, by the way, saying, "What do we think of AJ Mendez's new look? Possibly a return." So she posted a photo of herself looking jacked. Quite honestly, I just think she's always maintained a very good physique. I think she's always stayed in the gym. Good for her. She's doing heels apparently, right? She's doing not AEW heels. I mean heels on Stars, the show. But what do you think? Do you think we're closer to seeing AJ show up back in wrestling outside of Women of Wrestling?
I don't think so, honestly. I think it'd be cool. I have no issue with it. It'd be very good. It'd be good for wrestling because everyone loves AJ Lee, and she's a very good performer during her time and everything. So it'd be cool to see her return. I don't know how much she really wants to do that, honestly. Like any interview I've listened to her or read of her, she just feels like that chapter's been in the past for her, and she's just good, doing writing, doing production, executive producing type of thing, and she's content and happy with that. I don't know if she wants to do it. Obviously, if she comes back, she wants to do it in some capacity, but I don't get the sense that this is something she's like eager to do.
I agree with you. I think there's ultimately, obviously, it's up to her. I don't know where she fits if not back in WWE, to be perfectly honest. I don't know what, like, she goes to the AEW women's division and what happens? She's part of a division that's not booked very strongly, in my opinion.
She's part of the Outcast.
That's pretty much it. Like, are they going to put her opposite the Outcast and she'll be like, I didn't come here, but I support these originals. And it doesn't work. You put her on Collision and she's she's going to have a Chris Statlander TBS title match. Like, what are we doing? It just, nothing about her coming to AEW makes sense or interests me. Whereas her coming back to WWE with an axe to grind, kind of like that. I would like that more. But who knows? She could show up in MLW and challenge their new featherweight champion.
Yeah,
that's what I would do.
I don't know if MLW is going to be the home for her. That's not where you may return 6 months after it airs, 6 months after it's taped. That's not a whole lot of buzz there. MLW. I do think a WWE return would be something. I mean, she still worked in WWE for a little while after everything happened with Punk. So clearly she can get along a little bit. Punk was obviously backstage during his AEW sabbatical and everything. So maybe there's a little bit of a makeup there. But again, AJ Lee was professional after Punk left on very bad terms as well. Like AJ Lee was very professional on that. So I'm with you. Like a WWE return would kind of interest me more than her just joining AEW, because how many times have we seen like this big star coming into AEW and then it just kind of fizzling out rather quickly after, you know, they lose to Jade Cargill or whoever they lose to.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this, by the way, MLW has been airing stuff a little closer to when it's been taped, so I gotta put them over for that. And I know Steven Jessen has been on the Weekender, so I'll say that. But yeah, I don't think that she'll be appearing there. Or maybe.
Have they been airing stuff closer? I mean, they just aired this women's featherweight bout between Taya and Del Miexo. This thing was taped on April 6th. Is that closer? Like, that's still 2 months. 2.5 months.
Okay, fair, fine. I was hoping that maybe it wouldn't be that way, but I guess you're right. Have you thought that maybe that's the way it should be with MLW? No, I don't know. Someone in the chat saying she should be Tyrus for the NWA 10 pounds of gold. That I'm a big fan of that. Let's do that.
I'm all about that. That'd be fantastic. She should show up there and just beat Tyrus, and then she can be on CBS syndicated with the NWA women's title as part of Women of Wrestling.
Nuclear heat. Our guest is scheduled to join us in a couple minutes. Jody Threat's going to be here. Very excited for that. A lot to talk about, and we're gonna put all that over. Wrap a bow on the CM Punk stuff tonight. He potentially shows up on Dynamite. Does this set up a match for Forbidden Door for CM Punk? That's the big question at hand. With a week left until, not even a week, with a few days left until Forbidden Door.
If they don't do the Tanahashi thing, which people have kind of hinted and speculated with MJF saying he wasn't going to show up, like, what is there for him? The Kenta thing was rumored, but I feel like they would have done that for Collision if they were going to pull him in there. But maybe, you know, that match is one that for the fan base they're looking for on this, that really sells itself. Kenta comes out, attacks, and then you're off from there. So maybe you can do that with a 2-show build, Dynamite and Collision. Those are the only two that it's like, all right, here we go. Otherwise, you just kind of be like, hey, CM Punk against Ishii, great match, but not much heat behind it.
A lot of biting. So I got to stop doing that.
Stone Pitbull.
Yeah, he's just doing Stone Pitbull. Anyway, I'm excited for that. We'll see what they do on Dynamite. I think the Kenta match is still on, and we'll get built too. So regardless, it's time. Without further ado, let's get to it, folks. This is a fun one. We're looking forward to having her on the show. You know her right now from Impact Wrestling. She's going to be in contest this Sunday morning, June 25th, at the Rec Room in Toronto, facing Alley Catch at a no DQ match. Smash Wrestling and Femme Fatale puts on Girls Next Door. Go and check it out. I will be there. So in the meantime, let's bring her on. The one, the only, Jody Threat joins us now. Hi, Jody. How are you?
Good morning. It is morning, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Last I checked, it's sunny here. I'm in Toronto, so it's beautiful here today.
Good.
Let's get right to it. You've got a match with Alley Catch, a no DQ match. I've seen you attack those before. What's different with Alley Catch in a no DQ match? Because she can also go in those situations.
See, the challenge here is that if anyone has followed my career, Alley Catch, formerly Alley Cat, was my tag team partner. So I feel like she knows my ins and outs. And so I think that might cause a bit of trickiness. So there's that. Not to mention, her career lately has been very hardcore, if you will. So I think this might be a bit more challenging than it normally is based on those things.
I have to ask about your shirt because I just caught it of what is the meaning behind this shirt?
This shirt is of one of my favorite bands. Check them out. They're pretty dang good. Yeah. Coxbar.
There you go. All right. Well, now everybody can
That's
go.
That's your homework, everyone. Everyone go home, go on whatever your music thing is and check out Coxbar. A+ band.
What kind of music do they do?
I like punk.
Okay. All right. I wasn't sure. Thank you for clarifying that
Yeah, no
on
worries.
what the shirt means. You recently signed with Impact Wrestling. How have you found your time with Impact thus far?
Oh, it's amazing. What a neat locker room. I've said it a few times now. You go in there, like it's, when you're on the indies, you're a bit of like a big fish in a little pond. And then you go into TV and you're literally a little minnow in this ocean. So it can be overwhelming, but from day one, everyone has just been so welcoming. And you really feel like people want you to succeed. So honestly, like I have nothing bad to say, only positive raving reviews for Impact. And I just feel so lucky that I have the opportunity to work for this company.
One thing that is a little bit different in Impact versus everywhere else you've been is you're getting a little more involved with backstage vignettes and things like that. How has that been for you, kind of jumping into that new scene when it comes to television wrestling?
I don't know if you've noticed, I'm not very good at acting per se, so that has been a little awkward. I am a unionized actor. I was in like this show before, but it was very much based on like a character that was awkward and sporty, which is basically me. So this has definitely been a new experience. Obviously, you do promos and everything in the indies, but it is definitely a little different when you're, putting out a scene where different elements and different things are involved. And I'm sure you could probably see my awkwardness in there, but it's not supposed to be.
But it's something that it comes with with the reps, right? It's like wrestling. It's like training, right? You get more comfortable as you go. Or am I totally off base?
No, I think you're right. And I've been actually looking into like maybe some acting lessons. I'm also based in Toronto, so as you know, there's like a huge scene with like lots of opportunities. So that's actually been my homework for myself this last few weeks, is looking up where I can maybe go and learn, a few tricks of the trade or get those reps, maybe some improv or something, just to get out of your head. Because I think part of it is like you're just like you feel weird because you're acting out. You're like, this is not me, but I have to act like it is me. Like this is not necessarily what like Jody G would do. This is maybe what Jody Threat would do, and just working through those weird feelings that you have.
Have you gotten any advice from anybody backstage about how to kind of be more portraying yourself a little bit in those vignettes, but then acting in those vignettes? Because they have Jimmy Jacobs. I know he just left there, but he was a big did very well when it came to that in the backstage vignettes, and they have a lot of people back there who have done this for a very long time. So anybody giving you advice on that end?
So I haven't had too many reps yet, but there was like one in particular that I did in like a stairwell, and Jimmy Jacobs was the one that was directing that, and he gave me some words, but it was more just like telling me to get out of my head and like it's fine, like we're here to make this work, and he just really making you feel comfortable, because like I said, very very awkward for me. But I think I need a few more reps before I can really, like, a lot of the advice that I'm getting is more for my in-ring work. I think I've had like maybe 6 or 7 matches at this point versus like one vignette. So I'm sure the vignettes are coming, and I will be preparing myself, as I said.
One thing that you've done very happily so is portray a zombie in wrestling. Let's talk about Backyard Pro.
Listen, that was a demon, not a zombie, okay? Long live Nataz, which is Satan backwards. I don't know if anyone clocked that.
So what brought you to that whole thing? Because I mean, it was during the pandemic and a lot of things were going on, but like, how'd you feel? How did you get there? Talk to me about Backyard Pro.
So Von Vertigo was like the mastermind behind it, and he kind of hit up a few of us in Ontario that were, as you know, we were completely locked down. We couldn't even train. We couldn't even go to the gym. Like, it was insane, actually. And so following the rules of only having, so many people in a space together, he really coordinated and put this project together. I miss it. Like, I hope he does another season. I know all of our schedules are so busy now, so maybe it's impossible. But what a really neat experience. And I found, interestingly enough, that was very like acting oriented. I found that way easier to do versus like Jody Threat. And I think that was because it was literally not human. And so if you notice too, like people that know me, like a few of Nataz's quirks were actually like my actual quirks. So it was like very easy and just walking around going, you know, like this very, very me. But yeah, Von Vertigo does not get enough credits for that sweet project. And again, if anyone has not seen it, please check it out. It's on YouTube. There was like a few seasons. It was a lot of fun, and you'll see a lot of the Ontario folk in there playing different characters. Yeah, such a cool project.
What we're saying is Jody Threat in the Undead Realm coming soon to Impact Wrestling.
Bro, let's pitch it. I'll pitch it.
Listen, as the guy who's got to talk about Impact every week on this channel, I would relish the opportunity to talk about Jody in the Undead Realm. I'm just saying. Speaking of which, I know you guys are headed to Atlanta this Friday and Saturday it's for Impact Summer Sizzler. What's on the card for Jody Threat? I'm not telling you to spoil me anything, but like, what's the impact for Jody this coming weekend in Atlanta?
Without having too many details given, Jody will go there and kick some butt. We'll say that. I'm coming all revved up. I'm ready to go. Fired up, guys.
Part of the Girls Next Door show and being an all women show, and you know, you're wrestling Allie Katch, and there's a lot of great female independent talent on the scene. Who are some names to you that really stand out?
On the show or in general?
In general, both can be on the show, or yeah, in general.
Maybe I'm biased, but anyone on like the Impact roster, like that really stands out to me. But looking at that show is stacked on its own. Again, like Allie Katch is one of the biggest names on the indies right now. We got Trish Adora, which is sweet. Vanessa Craven is back after that awful injury. She's awesome. And there's a bunch of like young talents coming up as well. So yeah, like I would say like the show's actually done a pretty good job at capturing like some really good talents that are floating around the scene right now. So kudos to them.
Let's go to Girls Next Door. Sunday. Your match with Allie is one thing. It's a no DQ match, like we said. Allie's known for bringing certain weapons of her own, including a knife.
Oh, God. I forgot about that.
No, now we're putting it on the radar.
Oh, no.
What's Jody's weapon of choice when you get into a no DQ match?
Listen, guys, I normally don't do these kinds of matches. So really, there's nothing that I am known for. What I'm known for is surviving. So whatever is to my disposal, I will use. Whether that be, you know, a fan's can of beer, to a chair that they might be sitting on. Maybe I could dig around and find some sort of table or door, but like there is no choice because I don't typically run into these situations.
We gotta find
these things, guys. These are my choices. Mike 1 and Mike 2. Let's go.
Once upon a time, it would be, you know, there would be a skateboard, but now things are different.
Yeah, I retired then. That was my mode of transportation. It just was useful for violence when it needed to come about. But good call. Maybe I should pack my skateboard. I didn't even think of that.
Once upon a time, I watched you at A1 in Hamilton, and your board, it got used for something, and for some reason, it just rolled right up to my feet, and I was like, "This is awkward. What are we doing here?" So, I thought, I was just like, "How are we going to get this back to her?" Thankfully, someone came and grabbed it, but it was one of those moments where I was just like, "Is she going to use this thing more often, or what?"
So funny, maybe. Like you said, you've inspired me, and for you specifically, I will make sure I pack my board this weekend.
My goodness.
Can you hit Joel Pearl with the board?
I think that's assault, unless it's in a ring, and I'm not trying to get arrested, guys.
I'll jump in
got a working visa, guys. I need to be able to cross the border. Now, if Joel wants to get into the ring and give me consent, then perhaps.
There we go, Joel. There, I got you a booking, Joel. Another one. I got you another booking.
I don't think that the show on Sunday is catered for me. But Jody, I know that you've worked other shows that are all women shows. One that I'll bring up is the Summit in 2019. So and that was a show that, you know, was a lot of fun for a lot of different reasons, and gives shows like Girls Next Door more merit, more credit. What's it like when you're working in a show like this where it's all women, all the spotlight? What's the locker room like? What's the vibe?
It's cool because in wrestling you meet a lot of people, and then, you know, a lot of us don't live in the same place, so we don't get to see our friends very often. And as you know, the reality is that a lot of the locker rooms do not have enough females in them. Sure, you'll have a few, but you're going to get majority guys. So it's nice when you have an opportunity for the girls that you've met in your journeys to all kind of collect in one area, and you're getting to see people that you haven't seen in quite a while. So like there's that. There's also often like a feeling of like we got let's effing go. This is a PG show, right? I can't say the F word.
No, you could say it.
You could say it. It's fine.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go is the vibe. So there's that, and it's just it's like a sense of empowerment. So I always speak so fondly of Shimmer. I'm so lucky that I got to at least experience it a few loops, because now Prazak has kind of put it to the side. So we don't get that, like, you know, like twice a year sort of thing where we get to come together and see each other and work really hard together. So it's just, it really is nice when a quality company will put together something like this and spend the money to bring in girls from all around so that we can see each other.
What's it like just wrestling, being back in Canada? I know you're in Canada for Impact, but Independence, you haven't been there for a couple months now. So being back in Canada, just wrestling in Canada in general, because it has become such a big hotbed for wrestling.
Yeah. You got cut out so hard that I didn't even hear the question.
Apologies, my internet.
Canada.
Yes, Canada. Wrestling in Canada, it being a hotbed for wrestling. What's the feeling like when you're wrestling in front of the Canadian crowds?
Oh, I love it. Coast to coast. Like, I've been really lucky in the last little while where I've had like literally bookings in Halifax straight over to like Vancouver. So it's awesome. And it's kind of like a sense of pride that you get to wrestle in front of like your people, if you will. And to like show like how much you've grown over the last few years. Yeah, I love it. And the crowds are wild and so supportive. And like, obviously I'm born and raised in Toronto, so whenever I get to wrestle in Toronto, I get super hyped because I really feel that hometown love. And I think that a part of my personality is that I do represent Toronto, and like, you know, someone that grows up in Toronto, especially in my era. So I feel like people actually like recognize that and give me that like extra love, because anytime I'm home, it's just so loud for me, which is really cool. It's loud everywhere, which is awesome. Canada's great, but there's just something special about like your hometown.
There's a place where you've wrestled recently that is not very loud, and that's in a museum in Winnipeg.
Oh yeah.
You had a match.
It's actually very loud.
Talk to me about this, because I remember hearing about this show going on. It was called Fight at the Museum, and it's Winnipeg Pro Wrestling.
Yes.
You were the women's champion. Are you still their women's champion?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, so talk to me about this match, fighting in museum, as we start to kind of wind down on this conversation here. I want to hear about this. Okay,
well, I'm glad that we have an opportunity to speak about Winnipeg Pro, because I hope that everyone goes and checks them out. This is my second home, and truly, I only call it my second home because I'm still living in Toronto. But I love this promotion, and I love what they're doing. They really do just want it to be inclusive, and they do everything they can to make it feel welcoming to everyone that's there, whether it be talent or fans. The fans too are like a different breed. They're wild, they're loyal, and I love them, and they're so invested. So they've been building for the last few years, and they got an opportunity to go to the museum in Winnipeg, which was even like a bigger room. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it's a bigger room than their normal venue, which they normally sell out literally in like 20 minutes. So they'll release their tickets the day of the show, of the show that's happening for the next show. And like within like 20 minutes, like they're always sold out. So I guess it was like a sweet opportunity to prove to them that, like, look, you can also sell out this museum. And it was just like a really cool opportunity. And like I said, although maybe the rules are to be quiet at a museum, we were not quiet. Let me tell you, Silesia is wild. She tried to kill me. It was nuts. But I succeeded. And yeah, keep your eyes on them, because actually in the fall they just booked like a big ass venue out in Winnipeg, and I'm pretty sure like they just dropped the tickets, and I'm pretty sure they're probably almost sold out. Like that's how very sick they are. Love it there.
You mentioned earlier about using maybe a beer can or a fan's beer and then there as a weapon, and then there's also a photo of you and Willow Nightingale sharing drinks during a match. So I have to ask, what is Jody Threat's beverage choice?
Oh, well, it really depends. When I am relaxing in a hotel lounge, it will be a filthy gin martini, not like a dirty, not filthy. I want all the olive juice. When I'm out, it's usually honestly like something simple like a Jameson. I'm a whiskey drinker. But when I'm wrestling, my fuel 100% is beer. So like I said, I would use it as a weapon, but really often it's how I hydrate during my matches.
Just any beer, just grab it and just hope it's good.
Whatever's available to me. I'm not picky.
I respect that. I respect that.
My question before my last question.
Yeah.
We'll do it in succession. When's the last time you went to the Bovine?
I was there with actually Trent Seven, like when he was in town last, so like maybe 3 weeks ago.
Wild. I used to love that place.
I still love it. It's great. Whenever I have one of the homies in town, that's one of my stops. Like there we go to obviously Sneaky D's, and there's a few other, but those are like the two like classic ones. Fun fact, I've done a door girl job there before wrestling Jody, which was interesting a few times.
I worked the door there too once or twice.
Oh, really? Oh,
cool. when my hair was longer and I was playing metal in the band. So there you go.
I love it.
Hasn't changed. My last question for you as we wind this down, your Impact Wrestling dream match. Who do you want to get in the ring with? Because so far you haven't you've had a bunch of matches, but it's been a lot of different talent, a lot of enhancement talent, and of course Alicia Edwards. So who's on the list? Who do you really want to face in Impact?
This has been my answer even before I got to Impact. My dream match that I've been dying for years is Deonna. Give me Deonna, please.
I'm all about it. So come and catch Jody Threat and the stars of Impact Wrestling first in Atlanta this coming. Was it Friday and Saturday?
Yep.
Go check that out, Summer Sizzler. And if you want to come and see Jody live at Girls Next Door, that is on Sunday morning, June 25th at the Rec Room in Toronto, 11:30 a.m. start. After that show, there's Smash Wrestling versus Defy Wrestling. If you want to get a combo ticket, go to smash-wrestling.com. Tickets are still available. The shows are happening in the afternoon so that you can walk on over 5 minutes to the Scotiabank Arena and check out AEW and New Japan's Forbidden Door. Jody, please go ahead, plug anything you have left, and let's get out of here.
Oh my God, go to Jody Threat, JODY Threat, and that's at Instagram or Twitter. Please follow me, like my stuff, like it all, buy my merch.
Jody, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Good luck,
Jody.
Thank you.
Looking forward to seeing you.
Amazing.
Take care.
Thank you, Jody. Have a good weekend.
Yes, you too. I don't know. How do I get out of here?
I got
you. There we go. Okay.
Jody Threat. That was fantastic, man. I'm excited for this
great.
weekend. Very excited for Girls Next Door. Very excited for another round of Impact Wrestling tapings. It's gonna be good stuff.
Jody Threat was fantastic. Watching her backstage, I think we could just like I don't want to be rude and just like boot her, but it feels like she's trying to get out and we just kick her from the studio.
Should I just kick her from the studio?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. It's frozen. Oh no, it's not. Okay. There we go.
There we go.
Right.
All right. Jody Threat was fantastic. Joel, I know the Girls Next Door show is not catered for you, and that's why I'm trying to get you beaten up on this show. You could be the biggest heel, just jump in the ring and just declare like, we need men on this show, and Jody Threat just comes out and whacks you with the skateboard, and she becomes the biggest baby face. You're a giant heel, and then next time they come back and they run Toronto, it's just a running bit. I'm basically just trying to get you beat up everywhere. I think everybody understands this by now, that I'm trying to get you beat up everywhere.
Why are you trying to take the other Lambert gimmick and pass it on to me? Stop it.
I got a lot of heat, man. Got heat.
Not the good kind of heat. Tell you that much.
No, He drew a lot of money until Cody took his ball and went to WWE because he didn't want to work with Dan Lambert.
Well, that's fair. I mean, who wants to work with Dan? I want to work with Dan. I don't. I'm done. Thanks again to Jody Threat. Thanks again. Looking forward to Smash Wrestling. Looking forward to Defy and Femme Fatale and all the shows that are going on this weekend. Let's shift because we're talking about taking balls and going places. Logan Paul.
What? Huh?
Took his ball and joined the field for Money in the Bank.
Yes, me too. I've declared for Money in the Bank. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna stow away myself and Sean Ross Sapp's luggage, and I'm gonna just jump in the ring for Money in the Bank, and a wrestler will probably hit me, I guess. But I've declared for Money in the Bank. Everybody, I'm gonna be in the match. I didn't have to win a qualifier or anything like that. I've just decided to declare for this match, and I'm in. This is how it works, right? I got views on Twitter. I got like 1/50th of Logan Paul's views. That might even be generous, but I'm part of the arguably the biggest wrestling website out there. So I'm in this match. Let's go. I'm gonna be Mr. Money in the Bank. Get ready.
Mr. Money in the Bank, Jeremy Lambert. Do you think that declaring for the Royal Rumble, for the Money in the Bank match is like declaring bankruptcy, Michael Scott over here?
Yeah, that's how it works. But I'm not declaring bankruptcy. I declare Money in the Bank.
I thought your internet was about to freeze on you right there. I was expecting I declare and I just would have had a field day.
How dare you think that Ohio internet is going to, freeze up on everything here? Not Ohio, the greatest state in the world where all of our stars leave to become better people.
So that was a very confusing promo by Logan Paul. Was it good? Yes, because he was delivering he kind of babyface and then heel and then kind of babyfaced it again when he was talking about redemption for the state of Ohio and I'm going to win this for you. But the crowd was eating it up as if he meant it. And as a result, it just kind of confused his entire promo in a way. So I'm sitting there and I'm watching him, talk about how he's joining Money in the Bank. He was invited to join by WWE officials and he said he would. So he's going to win it because Ohio deserves the best. And all the best Ohioans leave, which it's a very true and good point. But he had a lot to say, and I think some of it did get lost in the reaction about him not being part of a qualifying match to join the field. But he made reference to that in his own little way. What do you think of the promo? What do you think about Logan Paul? And now the Money in the Bank field is at 7. Not the first time we've seen this. Let's talk about it. What are we doing with Money in the Bank on the men's side?
I thought it was a good promo. I didn't find it that confusing, honestly. Like, it was designed to kind of babyface things at first because he was in Ohio, but like Logan Paul's just not very likable. He knows he's a heel, right? Like,
does he knows that?
Yeah, he does. That's why he healed on Ohio, because he knows he's a heel. So that's what he did. And yeah, he said manage.
He was dressed in all black, so that very much conforms to your idea. You're right. You're absolutely right.
So he knows he's a heel. He healed on the promo. He said that management allowed him. They wanted him in the match. He did not just declare like I have done. Triple H called and said, he buried everybody else. He's like, Triple H said, this match ain't got enough stars on it. It needs to go viral. I love the going viral. This match needs to go viral. So here I am, Logan Paul, the man of prime. I am now in this match. I have now entered this match. I was fine. Like, what were you expecting out of this? What did you want from Logan Paul? That's my question to you, Joel Pearl.
Me personally?
Yes, you.
No, this is basically what I expected. I'm not upset with it at all.
You sound upset.
No, I'm not. I actually quite enjoyed the promo, and I sat there on Monday watching it. And the first thing I said was like, when he started the promo, I'm like, okay, now say the part where Ohio sucks. And then he did, and I was like, okay, good. Now we're back on track. The big question is now, will Logan Paul win Money in the Bank? And will the field stay at 7? Like I said, it has happened before where Money in the Bank has had 7 competitors. Normally, they like to have around 8. Isn't not
I
around.
just, Joel, I'm the 8th man. I'm
Stop
trying to tell you this.
Stop it. They like to have a rounded number 8. So is there an 8th man? Is it going to be Bronson Reed, who has been taking out people week after week? It's not Jeremy Lambert. If it is, Bronson Reed versus Jeremy Lambert first. That's what we need to do. You can't just declare. You need to face the tsunami and hit it head on. That's what we need to do.
I've declared I'm a big enough draw in my own mind that I'm going to be in this match. I'm the 8th man, everybody. You don't need to go anywhere else to try to find an 8th man. It is me. I think it stays at 7. I don't foresee them adding anybody to it. I think it stays at 7.
You need to hit that tsunami from the top of the ladder. That's what we need from Bronson Reed.
I can do a leg drop from the top of the ladder.
Yeah, I've seen that. That's true. The psychosis leg drop. Yeah, you could do that. I think Logan's there as a bit of a red herring, quite honestly. You saw almost everyone show up for that promo to kind of give their thoughts, except for one particular guy who was in the main event tag match. That's Damian Priest. And I'm starting to get a little bit closer to the idea that maybe Damian Priest is going to hold that briefcase. If they don't add that 8th person, I'm still kind of holding out that it could be Drew McIntyre. But there's another side of that coin, and it's if Drew doesn't join Money in the Bank and win, I think he might come out after the title match with Seth and Finn and even up the odds if you have Finn and Priest beating up Seth at the end of the match. Drew comes out, aligns with Seth for a short time, turns on him not in the UK, but maybe on Raw the next Monday. That way he gets his big cheer, gets his big pop, Drew's back, and then we're setting up Seth versus Drew at SummerSlam because Brock is going to be tied up with Cody reportedly. So
why is he aligning with Seth for one night? Is this okay? So Judgment Day beats up on Seth. Drew makes the big save, and then
a big return,
they're
the big
fine.
save. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they're pally pals, and then he turns on Seth and says, "This is my title."
Right. You're in on this Drew McIntyre turning heel thing.
I've been
very
for
much
a while.
in on it.
Yeah.
I'm not like fully mad at it. I get it. Like I understand it. I don't know if we're gonna. Drew is doing Special Olympic work, so he's still like he's obviously under WWE contract still. It's there. If he doesn't show up at Money in the Bank, I think that goes to show things are much further apart than we'd like to believe. Because this is the spot for him. You're in the UK. Drew McIntyre is probably the biggest star you got on the roster from the UK. Like this would be the spot for him. So if he doesn't show up, they're probably far apart on things. We're hopefully going to have Alex McCarthy, Drew McIntyre insider, on the show next week to talk. I mean, he's going to be at Money in the Bank and everything, and he's very excited for the Bloodline stuff and just I'm sure the show in general. But Drew McIntyre expert Alex McCarthy will hopefully be on the show next week. This would be the spot for him. Why are you laughing?
I want to call him our Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre?
Drew McIntyre.
Oh, okay. I get it. That's okay. It's not worth like you're giggling like you've just told like the greatest joke in the world.
So
Joel. It's like 4 out of 10.
Yeah, well, that's how much sleep I got was 4. So
4 out of 10, Joel.
4 out of 10 that I needed.
4 out of 10. I don't think Logan Paul is going to win this thing, by the way.
No,
neither
he
might.
No.
He might, but I don't think he should. Look, man, they gotta go with LA Knight, dude.
Yeah.
They got to, honestly. Like this man, the reaction he got on Monday, the reactions he's just been getting, you can't. When a guy is over like this, you gotta go, like you gotta pull the trigger on this stuff. They were beating him in like 3-minute matches with Xavier Woods a couple months ago. The man is still so over that they do this all the time though, where they don't capitalize on these reactions of like, oh, this guy got naturally over. No, we can't have that. And then they just bury these guys, and it's dumb. you got to capitalize on this stuff. When you have someone like LA Knight who is this over naturally, go for it. Just do it. Pull the trigger on that stuff. To your point about Damian Priest, who kind of hinted might win this thing. I've seen a couple notes on that. One is that I've seen people kind of theorize, oh, Finn wins the world heavyweight title and Priest like immediately cashes in, and Priest becomes the champion, and then Finn. Now there was they did the backstage segments with like JD McDonough. They haven't really gone anywhere yet, and so maybe Priest becomes like, oh, okay, Judgment Day's mine. Finn might become a babyface out of this, but then I don't know how aligning with McDonough helps on this because that guy ain't a babyface. But they could try to pull something off like that. But the point is, like, Finn held the Universal title for a day, and now Priest is like, yeah, now your title reign was like 10 seconds. Suck on that. And the other point of Priest is a point you made with Riddle of you thought why Riddle was going to win is because they just been beating this man every single week. And that's what they're doing with Priest right now is he's taking a lot of L's. And so the theory is, oh, he's taking all these L's because then he's going to win Money in the Bank, which is certainly possible.
It's a WWE.
I think it's LA Knight. I mean, it's going to be me. I got my briefcase right here. There you go. My Money in the Bank briefcase. Brock.
Oh, you're going to do the Brock thing? You're going to bring that back?
I'm wearing a Brock shirt, actually.
Oh, look at you. You Mark.
Yeah.
Wearing your wrestling t-shirts on the air. You think you are,
dude? I got this. This is actually gifted to me from the wife. She got it at like a thrift store or something. So this is a free, more or less, Brock shirt. I apologize for exposing my Markism on this show, but I got my Money in the Bank briefcase, everybody. I'm just going to carry. What if I just cash this in, like my phone with a picture of the briefcase? Do you think they'd accept that? Is that valued? Is that like legitimate currency in the world of WWE?
Well, it depends. That's an iPhone. What kind of iPhone is that?
10?
Is it the 10? Really?
Yeah, I got it too. I've had this thing for a while.
Let me see the back of it. Let me see the back.
It's got a case on it.
Oh, that might be an 11.
All right, sure. I guess I could like technically look it up.
Yeah, you can just open up the about settings.
Yeah, it is iPhone. Yeah, it's 11. All right, sorry.
So it's not so bad. It's still old, but yeah, I don't know how much value that has. That's the thing.
Well, the briefcase, the picture of the briefcase is the valuable thing. This is worth $500,000 million right here. This picture, just this picture alone. It's an NFT. What if I said this is an NFT? And
I mean, Logan Paul would do that.
You can only pay in crypto for this NFT of this photo of the Money in the Bank briefcase. This is how Logan Paul got by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would work though.
You're trying. I see what you're trying, and it's not. It's clearly not taking.
Computer.
Yeah.
It doesn't show up on your stupid computer.
Yeah, it showed up on my computer. Sorry. Suck on that.
It was so close.
That was a good attempt. I respect it.
Guy with the super chat saying Logan Paul will win and the internet will go banana. I don't know, man. So, okay. I will say this about Logan Paul winning. The case is very straightforward. He puts it on every single Instagram video, every single social media post he does. That Money in the Bank briefcase is there. Every single episode of Impulsive that he does, that Money in the Bank briefcase is there. He doesn't show up on WWE TV often enough. So when he does and he has the briefcase, it's a big deal. Will he, won't he, is this it? You kind of tease it a little bit more. However, it's Logan Paul. And if he wins the title, he ain't going to be defending it. And they don't want to go back to the Brock 2018 or 2017 method where Brock won the title and then Brock didn't show up for well, you know what? Let's just rephrase that. You don't want to go to the Roman Reigns current model where you don't defend the title very much, if at all. And that part is why I think you're looking at more of a red herring in terms of Logan Paul, who will have a great showing in the match. He puts the work in. He looks good. He works well. And this is another match style for him to check off his box because He hasn't done a ladder match. He certainly hasn't done a multi-man match. So this is a good opportunity for him. Well, I don't count the Royal Rumble, but he hasn't done like a multi-man match like this. So this is just another thing for him to talk about and talk about his WWE experience as a whole on all of these social platforms. So that's why I'm of two mindsets when it comes to Logan winning or not winning the Money in the Bank briefcase. Both sides make sense, but I don't think he's going to win.
Did he struggle to unhook that briefcase on Monday, or was that just me?
I think he was told not to unhook it.
Oh, okay.
Because they had both of them up there and it's more for show. So I think, and also, I don't know, are they hooked? Yeah, they are hooked, but like it's very precarious up there. But he was very comfortable up there on the ladder. He didn't look out of sorts at all. He didn't look uncomfortable.
I was like, like that's going to change the entire outlook. Like if he can't unhook the briefcase, if he was struggling in that moment, maybe he was scheduled to win, but it's like, oh no, this man can't unhook the briefcase on Raw. We can't trust him to try to unhook it. That's why Corbin lost his cash in, because he struggled so much to unhook it when he won. And they said, oh man, he struggled unhooking it. So now he's just going to lose when he tries to cash in, because we just can't struggle on the unhook, guys. Got to do it immediately. Otherwise, your entire career is ruined.
I wouldn't be surprised if we do. I mean, Logan Paul's going to be at SummerSlam, right? You got to assume.
I would assume so, yeah.
Do you continue the Logan Paul and Ricochet kind of, it's not a story, but like they had the interaction at the Royal Rumble. Ricochet brought it up on Raw. Do you maybe have them in some sort of match, not a one-on-one, but maybe Braun's not coming back anytime soon, right? He's going to be out for.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, he had fusion surgery, so he's probably going to be out for at least a little while longer. Do you do a tag match? Do you do a multi-man match? Or do you not do Logan Paul in that situation at all and he does something else?
Here's what you do for this. Does he want to pop on screen? Yeah, I'll give my very warranted. He was not SRS. Now he is SRS. Hello, Sean.
This is, the Eggman is here. Cuckoo.
Hey, I respect the shirt. First place, Cincinnati Reds. Let's effing go. Yeah. Joseph Daniel Votto back, still banging like only Joseph Daniel Votto can do.
Makes me happy.
A true Canadian legend.
He is. And it was so funny because like 10 years ago, people were like, he's going to leave Cincinnati for Toronto, which obviously wouldn't have bothered me that much personally. One person in history that has that as 1A and 1B, but he signed this big contract with Cincinnati, and I love how realistic he was about this. He was like, this is a good team now, so I've also got to be good or else I'm going to be on the bench regardless of how much money I make. He's not dumb. He knows they're not picking up his option next year unless he hits 500 this year or something. Then they will, which is also possible because he's him. But yeah, also, I'm still, people are like, oh, you're not saying sell the team now, are you? Yeah, I am saying sell the team. I'm absolutely saying sell the team. Nick Castellanos, bless him, at least even though he's all right, but he should have at least got a call from Cincinnati, and he wanted the fans to know, hey, I like Cincinnati an awful lot. They never even bothered to call me to bring me back. Then they waived probably their top one or two starter and actively sign someone to make themselves worse. We are the living embodiment of the Major League movie right now. That's what's going on, except there's no threat to move because they can't do that. The city would riot. But yeah, they play in about 50 minutes too.
Early game? Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
Have that on while maybe working a little bit.
Yeah, it's the Rockies.
Jay's home this weekend? Oh, they're at Miami.
We're going to a playoff game, right, Sean? We're gonna go to a playoff game when they make the playoffs.
I was so glad I went. It was actually the last. Well, okay, not the last playoff game they've been in because they made it in 2020. But I did go the last non-play-in playoff game they went to, and I watched. I think it was the end of Scott Rowland's career. I watched him strike out to. In the game. It was a bummer, but I'm glad that I went. But I want to go to a nighttime Reds playoff game. Who knows, man? Like the schedule right now is so up in the air with like, what the hell am I going to be doing? That WWE just announced an Indianapolis pay-per-view They announced a Pittsburgh one that you can drive to.
Yep.
They saw those 3.5 million views that Fightful got for their SmackDown show on social media, and they said, we just got to do everything close to them, I guess.
That's fine. It's fine by me.
I mean, Detroit is a direct flight from Lexington. What? Mania is a direct flight from Lexington. We fly direct to like 4 cities. They're hitting them all.
Not Toronto though.
They're gonna have a pay-per-view in Myrtle Beach next. That's what's gonna happen.
I think Charlotte's like the only direct flight from the Akron airport. So
They come here
maybe
too.
they'll come to Charlotte. Yeah.
Let's go, Charlotte.
Yeah.
So update, the Jays are playing this weekend. Sean, can I go to the game on Fightful's dime on Sunday? It's a 1:30 game. So Kate and I can go after Girls Next Door. We'll take everyone
You
with
just
us.
got no commented.
Let me look.
No, he's looking it
It
up.
won't be on. It'll be on Jimmy's dime. It
Yeah.
will not come out of Fightful.
They're also playing. They're 4:00 on Saturday and 7:00 on Friday. And I don't know when people are showing up anymore. So I'm here.
Let me see.
It's also Junior Jay's Day. That's every Sunday at the ballpark.
I'll bring it up to Jimmy on the air today.
That's hilarious. I was supposed to do a thing with Jimmy this afternoon until he realized he had a show this afternoon.
A 1:37 Eastern start.
Yeah, all of their Sunday games are around 1:00, 1:30.
Well, they're playing the A's, so there probably ain't going to be a lot of people there.
Which is great. It's going to be AEW Day at the park.
Oh,
Not officially. I'm not saying that. I'm not
kids
reporting
14 and under run the bases. You can run the bases.
I could bring my kid. He can run the bases. He'd love that.
I got to go on the
Can he
field.
walk?
Yeah, dude, he's running around now. It's wild.
Oh, okay.
This kid skipped crawling just so he could run.
Oh, okay.
I got to go on the field for the Bengals season ticket thing, and I had little rubber pellets in my shoes like all week long. But it was
I
awesome.
saw that picture that you were out there on the Bengals field.
I stole some of the rubber pellets too.
Wow, thief! I hope they come after you.
If they add it to your season ticket package.
Yeah.
It will. It's
By the way.
so. Jeremy went to a game with us last year.
Yeah. Yes.
And I went to the opening day, and I was dumb and got as close as I possibly could for that first game because I was like, oh, I got new money. I'm not poor anymore. And I overspent. I spent about as much on games or tickets for those 2 games as I am my season tickets. Like, and maybe one other. And fortunately, I have a friend who was just like, yeah, come on to a couple games. But yeah, season tickets were absolutely worth it. If I go to 4 games, it's worth it for me, and then I can sell the others. But I'm going to try to go to all of them.
Wow, Sean Ross Sapp doesn't work Sundays anymore. How many other days off do you want?
I'm going to have to. I'm going to have to work Sundays soon.
Tuesdays.
Working Saturdays now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some Fridays. Yeah.
Yeah, they're coming to Lexington too. So Collision's coming to Lexington. Dynamite's coming to. As if I didn't need to travel more around them, by the way. I'm already going from Lexington to Cincy to London, back to Cincy. And then I've got another trip to Cincy in the middle of that week because it's my birthday week to go to a concert that my friends and family planned for me. Then I might be flying to Chicago and coming back the Saturday before All Out because of the WWE pay-per-view, and I want to be around to cover that. But I heard they might be doing media. And then on each side of that, there is a Lexington Collision and a Cincinnati Dynamite. What the hell?
Just send me for the media at WWE. It's easy.
This is the
sending
Pittsburgh show. This is where I'm
that's the
going.
show. Oh, yeah, you go. You're fine.
Yeah. I'm
I'll go.
super professional.
I ain't going to
when it comes
WWE in
this stuff.
Pittsburgh. What the hell? They're doing Indianapolis in October too. So I'm going to that.
Yeah, perfect. I will try to be at SmackDown in August when Edge inevitably has his retirement match.
November will be a fun one. I've already booked my WrestleCade hotel through Monday, but I ain't staying until Monday. But I'm going. But what I'm going to do is fly from Charlotte to Cincinnati Sunday morning, get picked up by my wife, and then we're going to go to the Bengals game that day.
I will hopefully be at WrestleCade this year. Last year, COVID took me out, so I cannot make it. But I have plans to go this year, so I can, because the GOAT Bryan Danielson is going to be there, and I'm going to in person pitch my podcast to him, and then he will laugh at me. And
you need to in person. You need to in person tell him that you wrote the article, which he is very aware of, by the way.
Yes, yeah, I know he is, which is I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, I guess it's a good thing. Yes, I will. I get him to sign an Apple. I know Kelsey got him to sign.
Yep,
an Apple.
Kelsey and Mike.
I can get him to sign some premium tree sperm while I'm there.
Somebody said that a Bengals player will get hurt because he steps on a part of the field missing pellets.
That's on you, Sean Ross.
I was shocked to learn it was artificial turf. I guess I had never paid attention. And so many NFL teams use artificial turf while baseball just kind of moves away from that. Just wild to see how that works out.
But not the Blue Jays. Artificial turf.
Yeah.
It's awful.
Jeremy, you will be just tickled to learn that I started an MLB Road to the Show. I'm a shutdown reliever for the Reds, or not shutdown reliever. Sorry, shutdown starting pitcher for the Reds. Had probably the best minor league season of all time. 13 days before I get called up, they trade Jonathan India.
Oh no!
Who is the highest rated player on my team at the time?
For a pitcher? Did they just get a pitcher?
They got a shortstop and a third baseman. Basically, a bunch of things. The Reds don't need any of that now. And
here's me thanking Sean for making sure all the Fightful podcasts are back at 1080p again. Hey Sean, you want to tell him who really got you there?
Bye.
Why are you trying to take credit for everything, Joel?
Because I can take credit. I can even show you the DMs if we really wanted to. Sean sends out a tweet saying, hey, is anyone else having trouble with their StreamYard doing weird bumping down the quality? And I said, and I sent him the tweet and I said, this is what it is. Like, it's because somebody, I don't know who, someone goes into the settings on StreamYard, they bump their camera down to like 480p, which then puts the broadcast quality down for YouTube and wherever else it is. And it doesn't change until someone goes back and bumps it back up. So whenever I notice, because I watch on the highest available quality, because I have internet that can do that. So whenever I see it go to 720, I'm like, oh, some schmuck did that. They don't know. And I'm not going to blame anyone for not knowing about it. But that's what happens is it gets bumped down because somebody goes and bumps their camera quality down, which is, it makes sense because some of our talent don't have like blazing fast internet 100% of the time. So this is their way of compensating, which like it makes sense, but they just have to remember to bump it back up. So
who can we blame for this?
Kate's.
Fair. That's fair.
9 times out of 10. Yeah, no, I think Pulaski is the kind of guy who has it wired in now. I think ever since he moved, I think his computer is usually in that one spot. I think it's wired. But yeah.
Gotcha.
So yeah, we try to keep it as best as we can. But yeah, we blame Kate easily. I don't know who else we could blame.
Kate's always a good answer.
Yeah, Kate's the easiest scapegoat we have. She's the Kate goat. The scapegoat.
That one was better than your Drew McIntyre thing. Much better on that than that one.
And then Sean just sent a DM to the group chat saying exactly that.
I see that.
Oh, that's so funny. Oh man. Anyway, so
I'm just gonna reply, yeah, Kate.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if we can break the paywall yet, but it's been about 30 minutes and something.
Well, real quickly, I know what you're going with the paywall thing. I was about to give my super hot take on a Logan Paul versus Ricochet match.
Yes.
I don't know if you need to do a match, Joel. What they need to do is just a series of viral events and see who gets the most likes on their viral events. See who goes the most viral. I need Ricochet jumping on like 15 different boxes, just standing box jump, see how high it can go, see if Logan Paul can top that, jump off of cliffs and do like 300 flips and everything, see who gets the most likes on this, the most comments, the most subscriptions. They need to have a viral decathlon is what I want to see from Logan Paul and Ricochet. Not a wrestling match, because wrestling matches don't sell. Viral decathlons sell. So that's what I'm pitching for Ricochet and Logan Paul.
The viral decathlon. I love
Yeah.
it. What's the okay? Well, let's not do 10. But like, what
Why?
are the 3? What are the top 3 decathlon? Because I don't want to sit here all day and try to figure out 10 different viral things that these people could do to
I
win.
just gave you a bunch.
No, you got to give me like the top one. What's your top one?
You got to do a dance. That's definitely one of them. Whoever can come up with like the most creative dance is gonna, that's gonna be one of them, right? I don't watch enough TikTok to know these things. Where's TikTok expert Denise Salcedo when we need her, of like what goes viral and things like that?
I'll ask her this weekend when I see her.
Okay, Chelsea Green might actually win this whole thing.
Chelsea Green.
Those were so good.
Can we get her on the show? I know
I'm trying. I'm putting it out there in the Twitterverse.
Gotta have. We got to. You know what you got to do? You got to text. Not text. You got to DM Matt Cardona and just be like, "Listen, I'm not trying to go through you for no reason. Like, I need your partner. I need her to do this. Go tell her to go through whoever she needs to go through. Chelsea Green on this show. Chelsea Green. I'm not Chelsea Green. I want the Raw Monday Night Raw Chelsea Green.
Yeah.
On this program. I want the character on the show doing exactly what she's doing. That
Out of Character is a different show. We want in the character.
Out of Character, they can have all they bring her to us. Bring her to us right now. And we will talk to her about all of her TikTokery. Let the Out of Characters have the Kevin Patricks, okay?
Yeah. I want Chelsea Green on the show in full Karen mode, and like give 10 minutes, just 10 minutes, and it'll be the greatest thing we've ever done. And then we'll never do a show again. If we get 10 minutes with Karen Chelsea Green,
that's all I need. I've never wanted anything more in my life. If she had qualified for Money in the Bank, that would have been even sweeter. But that's not what we're doing. We need your wife.
Yeah, just message Matt Cardona. Hey, man, we need your wife. I'm sure that'll go well.
I'd be like, who are you? I'd be like, we did this thing a little while back. I'd be like, no recollection of that. We'll send you a plaque. It says best Fightful something, I promise. You can post it all over socials. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, remember about an hour ago when we were talking about CM Punk's opponent for Forbidden Door, we were like, oh, we got to get to the KENTA match. Well, Fightful Select reporting that match is not on the cards anymore, and KENTA himself may have been the reason why. Let's quickly dive into this, and then we can give our Dynamite preview, because I guess certain things may change as a result of this. But yeah, what do you think? KENTA out? We don't know what now for CM Punk at Forbidden Door, if anything.
I think the Tanahashi thing makes the most sense if that's the direction they decide to go, and especially if that's going to lead to a program with MJF. I know MJF still has some unfinished business with Adam Cole, which Adam Cole is supposed to address on Dynamite tonight. So we will see, what he has to say about the draw with MJF and if he can bait MJF into another match. But I think CM Punk and MJF makes sense as the program. Like as a television viewer, that's what you would want, right? The last time we saw CM Punk before Collision, he was the world champion. He was holding the belt up high, and MJF saunters out onto the stage, removes the devil mask, and it's him, and he's motioning for the belt. So CM Punk and MJF is the match that makes the most sense, and for a lot of reasons, whether it's business, financially, ratings, and then on just television storyline wise. So CM Punk, Hiroshi Tanahashi would make sense for Forbidden Door. If it's not Tanahashi, I'm struggling of who it might be because it's got to be somebody Punk can beat. That's the big, and Tanahashi clearly doesn't care about taking these L's. But it's got to be somebody that Punk can beat on the New Japan roster. And it's got to be a name. You've got Okada booked. You've got Ospreay booked. You've got Sonata booked Naito. Is Naito taking that L?
Is
Like,
Naito important enough these days to be taking that L? Is he big?
does
Like,
Naito even do a singles match? Naito's in like the mood of like, yeah, let me work this 8-man tag and not take my shirt off and just get in and get out. Like maybe that's the name I can like kind of like Ishii. He gets beat a lot, but he's been on AEW television before. He can take that L. He's part of the 6-man champs with Tanahashi and Okada. So
Suzuki, he's appearing tonight in that trios match with Jericho and Sammy. Maybe Suzuki, and we set up the Jericho stuff with CM Punk. The conversation that was not that I'm saying we're going to do Jericho CM Punk from that, but like there at least is a loose connection there.
Suzuki makes some sense. I don't know who else is there to like kind of, that feels big and can take the loss in this aspect. Like Tanahashi makes the most sense for a lot of reasons. I don't know if that's where they're going to go, but that certainly makes the most sense.
Dick Togo. What if it's a tag match? What if it's CMFTR versus like I don't even know what you could do with that.
Just
point.
3 guys.
Well, once again, I'm still someone in the chat was talking about freeze up MJF for just 5 Jews, but unfortunately Sonata is a little busy, so we can't do just 5 Jews. I mean, yeah, I don't know who makes sense. You do the Bullet Club again?
Oh,
CMFTR?
David Finlay and I get what do you do? Juice and Jay, but they have Finlay with them. You do Finlay, Coughlin, and Gabriel Kidd as the Bullet Club representatives.
That's the problem. Like, there's nothing big enough to make this work unless it's more Chaos members. At that point, it's like, I don't know. Nobody. I'm looking at the roster and I'm like, no one here jumps out at me as the right person to face CM Punk at Forbidden Door. Yoda Tsuji is a name that
he don't need to be taking that L though.
That's the problem. That's exactly it. He would need to be Punk to really make that that name for himself. There's no one here that I'm just like, yeah, absolutely this guy. Toru Yano, always.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Love me some Yano.
Yeah.
What about Hiromu? I just want to see her. I just want to see if Punk can go with that style against Hiromu.
I thought about that and I was just like, I don't think I want to see that because Punk clearly was a little rusty in a trios this past Saturday. I don't need to see this.
Bucks are going like, yeah, give him Hiromu.
Well, I was gonna say, what if it's Shota? What if Mox and Punk are kind of back on talking terms and everything's cool? Which I can see, honestly, like Mox, I can see just being like, water under the bridge, we're cool. Everyone was messed up at that time. We're better now. Whatever it is, like I could see them trying to set something up. You have Punk beat the shit out of Shota and you do just like a not an uncomfortable beatdown, but like a good match that ends with Punk really beating Shota and Mox being like, you can't do that to my guy. So you and I are gonna have problems now.
And they still got life in this Blackpool and Elite thing is the only thing. I don't know when you're moving on to a Punk feud for Blackpool, if that's the direction they end up going for. I mean, it makes sense. Like, I guess you can just circle back of like, okay, once they finish with Elite, Mox can circle back and be like, hey, remember Forbidden Door type of thing, and you beat up Shota. Now I got issues with you. You can always circle back to it. I don't know. It doesn't feel like there's this super big match out there. Is there like a New Japan legend that they were like? I thought of Shibata, but it looks like Shibata is gonna wrestle Garcia anyway.
Yuji Nagata.
Oh yeah, I was thinking like Nagata. What's his? Oh man, Kojima, Satoshi Kojima.
Oh yeah.
Could go there. And these matches just don't like, they're cool. They don't feel really big. And I guess this is what happens when the guy returns 2 weeks before the pay-per-view and you're trying to set something up and the match that you seemingly wanted to set up has fallen through here. So I guess they're just, you can only do so much with that. Yeah, I think the Tanahashi thing makes the most sense. If it's not Tanahashi, then your options feel kind of limited at that point. Shingo, you put Shingo in there. Shingo's been reduced in a New Japan perspective, but like he's still a former champion.
So one thing I thought about, and the problem is of the way it's Ospreay and Kenny, so you have United Empire being represented. I was going to say, what if you do CMFTR versus the rest of United Empire, right? You do Catch 22 and Jeff Cobb, but then it's like, what's the, like? I mean, I guess as a just a random match you put on the card, it would be entertaining, but not that there's enough time to really build a story. The idea of like Will Ospreay, who is going after Kenny Omega, who is not friends with CM Punk, and then the other guys are going to go off. You know, it just the cross stream doesn't work for me, at least. I'm sure you could tell a way around it, but you don't have a week to tell the story. You have a few days, so I don't know where it sits.
I think if it's not if it's not a CM Punk singles match, if it's not Tanahashi, I do think the best potential like match, I don't know about best potential, but the most likely potential match, I should say, is a 6-man tag, and it is CMFTR against, let's say, Goto, Yoshihashi, and Ishii. That's all chaos right there. So
best buy-in ever.
Like that might be the direction they end up going if they don't do a big, because like there's just not, it doesn't feel like there's a big CM Punk singles match out there. So you just do a 6-man. Somebody Ishii can take the L on that one, and then you move on. But there you go. You get a Forbidden Door match out of it.
And the only reason I'm talking about Catch 22 is also you've got, Kyle Fletcher is also there, but he can't do it because Godzilla's out. So it's like, but again, the CMFTR, and then you can.
But you do Cobb,
right? They got the light tag titles.
They got the junior tag titles. You do Cobb, Fletcher, Great-O-Khan, the greatest worker of all time.
I forgot about Great-O-Khan, and he's supposedly going to be on the show. That was something that we were expecting. That's it.
Great-O-Khan, Vegas Adventures back, baby.
Great-O-Khan trying to do Toronto. I would love to see him try. There are a few clubs around, not near, but there are a few clubs he could go and enjoy. He'll enjoy Zanzibar. Anyway, AEW Dynamite's tonight. Let's quickly talk about that. Trios match, Jericho Guevara and Suzuki versus Andretti, Darius Martin, and AR Fox. Is Sting okay?
Yeah, why wouldn't Sting be okay?
Wasn't it supposed to be Sting and Darby and...
They hinted at that. They did.
Yeah.
They did kind of make reference, but that was never like official. And I think maybe they realized, we should probably like do some type of Forbidden Door stuff the week before Forbidden Door and heat that, because like Sting and Jericho ain't happening at Forbidden Door. So I imagine Jericho will be on Forbidden Door. I imagine they'll do something there, and this will probably set things up on that. So I think that is kind of what it came down to, is they realized, they teased it, but then they realized, oh wait, maybe we should hold off on that one because we have other stuff that's more pressing.
I still wish Fred Rosser would get some shine on these Forbidden Door shows. I think he deserves that. Like, wipe out Action Andretti for this. I guess Jericho. Wipe out one of the three from that Andretti, Martin, and Fox trio. Put Fred Rosser in. Let him at least have something. Let him show up on Dynamite, have some fun. But anyway, that's a trios match. Hardys versus the Guns is happening. I'm sure that's going to be something. Sure. For the TBS title, Chris Statlander defends against Ty Valkyrie. Ty Valkyrie gets her third title shot, this time against a new champion. She's turned, as women do. You show up as a hot hand in AEW, and then boom, you're beaten, and boom, you turn, and you're upset with the world. Chris Statlander wins?
I would think so.
Wonderful.
I don't know why you're going to take the title off Statlander after all of this time. And then Ty has already lost twice to Jade. I don't understand why she's getting this match. I don't get it. Chris Statlander jumped the line. You had 2 shots. Get to the back of the line.
It's very strange. In a concession stand brawl, because we're in Tupelo, Illinois, apparently. Jeff Jarrett versus Mark Briscoe. I thought this past Sunday, this was going to be the main event, but I don't think it's going to be. If Jarrett said if he loses, You're not going to see
No,
him
we're not.
anymore in AEW.
We're not perpetuating that lie. That was Jarrett was clearly riffing, and then they quickly edited that out.
Took it out.
Yeah, because I saw that clip floating around. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Obviously, as a news writer, I'm like, oh, that's a easy story right there. Jeff Jarrett says he's done. So I saw the clip floating, and then I watched the official video like 20 minutes after I saw that clip, and it was not in the official video anymore. So yeah, someone made a mistake there putting that in there, didn't realize what kind of stir that was going to call.
Whoops. Well, there you go. Jarrett or Briscoe, who's going to win this thing?
I would assume Briscoe, but also probably Jarrett.
That's fine by me. Orange Cassidy and Katsuyori Shibata team up to take on Daniel Garcia and Zack Sabre Jr. Who's Zack Sabre Jr. going to call a dickhead this week? Shibata or Cassidy? Or
I assume he's facing Orange Cassidy at Forbidden Door. Like they more or less set that up, but then they did this tag match. But I assume he's gonna have a match at Forbidden Door against Orange Cassidy.
I figured Garcia would get into this and it'd be a triple threats for the international championship.
Maybe that's possible. I think Garcia is just going to face Shibata one-on-one for an ROH title at AEW New Japan Forbidden Door.
AEW New Japan Ring of Honor Forbidden Doors.
Yeah,
I saw that they added a new TV title design finally. So good for them. They got the new TV title coming. The new belt coming. And then of course we have our random we'll hear from Eddie Kingston, Adam Cole will speak Bebe, and of course Bryan Danielson calls out Kazuchika Okada, which to me that's the main event. Like I'm not being facetious. That is the main event segment to me. Does Okada show up or like?
Yeah, Okada shows up.
So yes, but my feeling was always like you're going Japan to Chicago to the US to then fly into Canada. So you're basically country hopping over those three, appearances. So for me, it was like, was it worth it for them to bring in Okada for this? But it is. So I'm guessing Okada comes out. Does he bring some friends with him to fight off Black Bolt Combat Club going into Sunday? What are we doing?
They've done this before. And this is what I want. I can't remember what and this might have been a WWE thing, honestly, where they did this. But like I want Danielson and Okada just like face to face, and then you got Chaos and Blackpool fighting like around them.
That was last year's Forbidden Door. That was the final thing where they had messed up, and it was Tanahashi was face to face with Mox.
Okay, we'll do it again. I don't care.
But they had screwed up the timing so bad. They had like an extra 5 minutes left, so it made everything really awkward on the broadcast.
Well, time it better this time.
I agree. But yes, that was the lead out to Forbidden Door last year's Dynamite.
Okay. I knew I'd seen it. I knew some company had done it. I didn't realize it was literally last year's Forbidden Door. That's what I want though. That visual just like pops me. These two dudes are so like unconcerned with like all their friends fighting each other that they're only focused on each other. And all these people are fighting, but it's like, I'm not going to hit this man. He's going to have to hit me first. I'm going to wait until it's an official capacity before I hit this man. I love that little bit.
We also forgot the Lethal Lottery, aka the draw for the Blind Eliminator Tournament.
I need legit draw on this, by the way. I want this to be a shoot draw.
I assume it's a tumbler, and one wrestler walks in, picks another wrestler's name out of the tumbler, and that's their partner.
Yeah. I need this to be, or I want Tony Khan drawing. Tony Khan backstage, just working the tumbler, and he just draws the name out. And here we have Hook. It's Hook, everybody. Tumble, 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 tumble. And his teammate will be Austin Gunn. Austin Gunn and Hook will be teaming in the Blind Eliminator Tournament. That's what I want.
Hangman Page and CM Punk are going to become a team for this thing, I swear.
Great.
That's all I got. We did it. We covered everything.
Reportedly CM Punk, reportedly not Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks on this show.
Yes, that's it's going to remain to be seen. They've got a lot of ground to cover going into Forbidden Door this weekend. Friday, we're back as we always are. Nicole Matthews is scheduled to join us. We're looking forward to that conversation. Thanks again to Jody Threat for coming around and joining us this morning. Jeremy Lambert, plug your stuff. Let's get out of here.
I'm going to win the Money in the Bank next week, and that is all I have to plug. Keep it locked to Fightful Overbooked for all the stuff we have coming up. I made it through the show, Joel Pearl.
Congratulations. It was a big deal. I'm very proud of you. Go ahead. In honor of that, in celebration of that, leave a thumbs up on the video. And of course, like and subscribe here at Fightful Overbooked because we have content dropping every single day. I am at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Go enjoy Dynamite tonight. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We're back Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern to get in the weeds. We'll see you then. Cheers.